Alright guys, this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Nolan Unejo, who asked me to do a three-way crossover between Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, and Uncharted. So, let's get started. But before we do, as always, if you guys like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. Let's get started. So, the story begins with Nathan and Sully deep in like the heart of like the jungles of Peru, and they're they're basically looking for this temple because they had just gotten an anonymous contact who sent them a lot of money with a lot of zeros at the end of it to look for an artifact for them. And Nathan's just like, I don't know if I trust this guy, and who knows what this guy is capable of, but like, that's a lot of money. They gave us a lot of money to look for this thing. So Nathan is like, he wants it, like, he's cautious about whatever this relic is. Even he hasn't heard of it. It's called the Sword of Buddha, and no one's heard of this thing. Like, it's even as a myth, it's like hard to find. And even Sully's like, why the hell is a thing called the Sword of Buddha all the way in Peru? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then Nathan's like, well, maybe maybe there's Buddhism in Peru. You don't know that. Don't be insensitive. So they go to so they finally find the temple. And Nathan is like, this feels really easy. Like, this feels way too easy to be to actually work. So he's like, where's the pirates? Where's the other treasure hunters? And when does this get hard is what he's asking. Like, because he's always like, at no point in my life has anything been easy. So when does the rug get pulled out from under me? Because he's at the temple. He's like, is there temple traps? Is there things like that? I don't know. But as he says that, he's looking through He's looking through some binoculars, and he's already seeing someone scale the temple. And he's like, who the fuck? Because he sees like a woman, but he doesn't realize who it is. And he's like, oh no, nope, that's my paycheck. So Sully stays behind, and Nathan goes alone into the temple. And once he's in the temple, he's already dodging traps. He's dodging like quicksand pits and a room of spiders, until finally he finds the other person, and that's Laura Croft. And even he's like, holy shit, you're Laura Croft. And she's like, yep. And you, sir, are in my way, Mr. Drake. And he is, oh, you know who I am? I'm pretty famous. And she's like, infamously stupid is what I'd call you. So Nathan and Laura have a fight, and the fight leads them to the treasure room, which there is the Sword of Buddha. And both of them are like they stop fighting, and it's like, look, I'm not, I'm just here for money. Just give me that thing. You can steal it from whoever. You can take it back from whoever you want in your little creepy collection, Miss Croft. But listen, I need this money because I like money. So if you want, you can steal it from whoever my seller is. But I'm taking this, and then I'm going on my way home. And Laura's like, sorry, but I'm not doing that. So the two fight, run over, grab the sword, and just as they do, the sword starts sparking to life. And as they're wrestling with it, they actually cut the air, but it actually cuts open a portal that they both fall through. And they don't fall through like another dimension; they fall through time. And as they're falling through time, they actually land in when they stop falling, they land in the 1940s. And they land somewhere in, they don't land in Peru in the 1940s. They actually land in India in the 1940s. And yeah, and then they're just like, what just happened? And she's like, oh, bloody time travel. And he's like, and Laura's like, bloody time travel. And Nathan's like, look, you said that like this is a normal thing for you. This is not a normal thing for me. I just battle pirates, lady. I just battle treasure hunters and mercenaries. This is way above my pay grade. And she's like, try fighting dinosaurs. And he's like, excuse me, what? No, you gotta walk that back. Do you say dinosaurs? So Nathan is obviously a little, shall we say, fucked up after that time travel experience. But Laura's just like, well, maybe we can just cut the sword and we'll jump through another time period and back to the future, back to our future. And he's like, or just throwing this out here, what if we get thrown to another time period? Even further, I do not want to. I know you said you've met dinosaurs before. That's an experience I don't want. So Laura agrees, and they're just like, maybe there's a way that we can focus it. So, but before they can, like maybe before they learn how like to focus it, they they immediately get set upon by Nazis, and Nathan's like, Nazis, real fucking Nazis. I really did time travel. So Nathan and Laura are like, Nathan's like, hey, I know you don't like me, but I know you probably like Nazis less, so let's get the fuck out of here. So they have to dodge these Nazis, but unfortunately, the Nazis get the sword. They get the sword of Buddha, and then they're like, yeah, we got the sword. We don't know who, we ran into 2 other interlopers, but that should be fine. Don't worry about them. So as they're running through the jungles of India, that's when they fall. When they actually run into Indiana. They run into Indiana Jones, and they're both like Laura's like, bloody hell, Indiana Jones, and Nathan Drake's like, holy shit, you're the guy. You are like the guy. And Indiana's like, I'm sorry, who are you two? So Laura and Nathan, they don't mention the time travel. Like Laura, keeps Nathan from saying the time travel part, and she's just like, "Look, we were fellow treasure hunters like you." And he's like, "I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm an archaeologist. You guys are pirates." And Nathan's like, "That's true. That's fair." But Indiana is like, "You guys were running from the opposite direction of the temple. So you want to tell me what that's all about?" And they're like, yeah, the Nazis got there first and took the sword of Buddha, which I assume was what you're looking for. And Indiana's like, yeah, how did you know that? And she's like, we were looking for it too. And Nathan's about to go, and Laura goes, we were looking for it too. We lost it. We had to leave. We had to escape, but they have the sword. And he's like, oh, that's not good. Because that's, apparently the sword of Buddha is meant to, cut holes through time. And Nathan's like, yeah, isn't that weird? So, and Indiana's like, look, I don't trust you guys, but I am very much in need of backup here. So if you got, I'm going to need you guys' help. If you don't want to help me, and he takes out his whip. If you guys don't want to help me, then there's going to be a problem. And Nathan's like, I am not fighting Indiana Jones, are you? And Laura's like, bloody hell no. So the 3 of them agree to team up. And as they're traveling back, Indiana's asking questions, and Laura, and Nathan says, I was hired, he basically says it without saying from the future, I was hired to find the sword by an anonymous buyer. And Laura goes, I was looking for it because of an anonymous tip. And he goes, huh, odd. And Indiana's just like, I went to go look for it because it's an artifact that belongs in a museum. Like an actual person, not trying to sell it off for money or keep it in a private collection where no one can find it. Actual betterment of mankind as opposed to you two, apparently. He's like, a mercenary and a private collector. Okay. And they're kind of feel like they got shit on, but at the same time, Nathan Drake's like, I got shit on by Indiana fucking Jones. It's fine. So they eventually find as they're traveling, as they get back to the temple, it's already under Nazi control. It is well under control, and they're actually killing like the temple guardians and villagers that are near the temple. And some of them did escape, and they actually ask Indiana, Laura, and Nathan for help. So the three of them do help. Nathan is like, "Oh, this is where I come in the best. Like, I'm good. I'm good at making up plans as I go along." So they get the villagers out, and the villagers, they're the descendants of the temple's people, and they like, yeah, the Sword of Buddha was meant to be a way for the gods to see us throughout time, like basically cut a hole in time and view us. It wasn't meant to like cross through time periods. If the Nazis get it, they could wreck. If the Nazis get it, they can wreck all of time and space at their leisure. So, and Nathan's like, "Oh, that's bad." So the three of them have to fight their way through the temple. They have to literally like fight their way through the entirety of the temple until they get to finding the sword, which the Nazis are already trying to figure out how to use. Like, they're cutting holes through time and pushing soldiers through it, and they're getting either killed by gladiators or eaten by dinosaurs or burned at the stake by Salem witch trials. Like, there's no control, like they don't know how to control it either. So the three of them basically fight their way through the Nazis until they manage to get the sword back. And essentially, after they kill off the Nazis, they even use like they even take like the Nazi commander, cut a hole through time, and kick him to the they actually kick him through time, and actually where he ends up is in Pompeii. So yeah, like he's right at the base of the volcano when it explodes and sends all that ash down. So by the end of it, they're trying to figure out what to do with it, and Nathan and Laura explain, like, "Dr. Jones, you may not believe it," and he's like, "You're from the future." And they're like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He's like, "It's pretty fucking obvious." So he says, like, maybe you just need to focus on your time period. And they like tell Indiana, "You need to hide this. Like, you and these people aren't safe. You need to take them somewhere where they can hide this properly." And he's like, "There's a lot of real estate in Peru." And that's when Nathan's like, "No, no, 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 no." And Laura's like, "Son of a bitch." And he's like, "What?" "Nothing. We'll tell you. Maybe we'll tell you in a bit." So they cut the hole. Nathan and Laura go back to the future, and they end up back at the temple. And at that point, that's when an old Indiana Jones, like in his like 80s, comes in with a cane. He's like, "I was wondering, I was hoping I'd get here before you two did, but then again, I guess I could, And that's when they realize the anonymous person who was trying to reach out to Nathan and Laura was Indiana. And she's like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And he's like, "You wouldn't believe me at this time, so I had to let you go to the future, go to the past, tell me to move the tribe and the sword to Peru, so you guys would find it, so you could warn me in the past." And Nathan's like, "I fucking hate time travel." But by the end of it, the sword is returned, and top men will be looking over the sword now. Anyway. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, I'd like to thank Nolan Unejo for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.